Okay, it says recording, so here we go. I'm here with Tresta Neil, and to get things started, I'd just like to ask Tresta if she can go ahead and tell us a little bit about herself and her company.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tresta Neil, and my company is Keystone Education. And basically, I started it because I realized that lots of homeschoolers were not getting together. So we started it as a co-op, and then as we started developing the co-ops together, I thought, no, this needs to be more of like a training. So I would go out and teach different people. And then it became just a video training. So I teach video training on symbolism specifically. So things like numbers and how to find God in numbers, how to find God in constellations, how to find, how to teach using the principles of the gospel. And I use like a trunk, thinking of a trunk of a tree. The trunk is like Jesus Christ, and then you have the branches that come out as the different specific subjects. And so you're linking all of these branches link back to Jesus Christ. And how do you do that? How do you say math belongs to Christ, or how do you teach Christ in math? And I remember going to a conference, and someone asked me, she goes, how do you add Christ in with math? And in my brain, I'm like, I have no idea. And I just told her something. I blurted out something cool, and I thought, I'm going to spend my time learning how to do that. So I teach the characteristics of Christ in the principles of math. So if you think about the principles of math, it's orderly, it's timely, it's demonstratable, then you can think of each one of those as characteristics of Christ. So I just teach Christ in all learning and how to do that easily.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. So now I'm going to ask you to tell us, how did you get into homeschooling in the first place?
Yes, I kind of have a unique story with that. My husband is the one who said, why don't you homeschool your kids? And I said, no way. No. We had just had 4 children, and within 4.5 years, so I had 4 babies in diapers at my beginning, and we had just finished having my 4th child, and I was like going crazy as a mother with 4 babies. And he says, I think we should homeschool our children. And I went, are you crazy? That's the last thing I want to do. I don't want to spend another day with my children any more than I have to. And it was such a shocker to hear that he would want to homeschool, because I'd only seen, the negatives of homeschooling. And so to appease him, I went to a homeschool conference, and I asked 1.5 million questions to all the attendees, and they didn't answer my questions. How do you get the socialization? How do you, all the normal questions? I was the one asking them. And it was there that the Spirit spoke to me and says, this is how you're going to get your answers to the questions that you want. So it was, and the questions that I wanted is that how did the timeline fit all of these stories? I know all the scripture stories, but how do they fit together, and how do they come together? And I've always wanted to know that question. And he says, through homeschooling, you're going to get that question answered. And I went, oh, okay. And sure enough, it was years later, as I was putting up stories on things, I'm like, oh, I actually get it. I know all this. I understand where this story fits into the timeline. And I can tell you, like, American history going with the Native Americans and, all this stuff. So it's been great that I was able to get my education through homeschooling. And so that was my start. My husband asked me, and I didn't want to. I went in kicking and screaming, but it's been a great success. We've been doing it for 22 years this year, and I've loved every minute of it. I got started and just couldn't stop.
That's awesome to be open to ideas and to gain knowledge for yourself to figure things out. So that's great. Yeah. So over the years then, what has become your absolute favorite thing about homeschooling?
Oh, probably the ahas. No, I would say for sure. How much I would have missed had my kids been in public school of just them going, oh, I get it. Oh, look at this. Or, man, Mom, did you know that this plus this plus this can equal that if you tuned it this? Or what if you can change this science project into this? I would have missed all of that. And looking back on my family, I remember just going through pictures a couple of days ago, and I said, if I went going back and thinking about the memories that have been created in raising my kids, I remember those times that they had their ahas, or the times that we connected at a deeper level. And I know without a doubt that we would not have the connections and that we do today had I not been there for them through those hours and hours during the day.
Well, that kind of seems to answer the next question, which is why that's so important to you. But do you have anything else to add on that thought?
Well, I would say that would be the most important. It's the relationships. Yeah, that's definitely the answer for that, is my relationships with my children. When I grew up in a family as of the oldest, and I felt neglected by my parents because they were always paying attention to everybody else or the younger kids. And I thought, I am not going to do this to my children. And so it was through homeschooling that I was able to communicate with my kids on a much deeper level than my parents ever did with me. And I cherish that fact. In fact, when I was studying last night, I had a test to prepare for this morning, and I was studying for it. My 20-year-old came in and he's like, "Come on, can I talk to you?" And I went, "Oh, I'm not going to have time to study." And I went, "Nope, this is more important." So I put down my study, and I said, "Yes, I will be happy to study with or talk with you." And we talked for hours.
That's awesome.
And I was still able to get my study in. So, God makes up the difference.
Great. That's awesome. Okay, tell me something that you wish that other homeschoolers knew.
So I think the best way to put this would be that it's easy. No one thinks it's easy, but it is. Because basically you're just playing with your kids, you're just having fun with them, and you're learning right alongside of them. And a lot of homeschoolers get caught up in the how to and the what to do and what I'm not doing or what they're not learning. And I think you just take a chill pill and relax and make it fun and sit down with them and color. I mean, it's everything you do with your children is going to give them what they need. And as long as you're in tune with the spirit, everything you do is going to be great.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about what you're going to be sharing with us at the boot camp.
Yeah, I'm excited about this. So there were several options, and Molly chose to have me talk about reflections. So what reflections are is how to reflect back on what you've just did. So say you've had this like big activity that you've just done with your kids, and you sit down and say, okay, let's reflect on what we did right and what we did wrong, and then be able to liken that to how we can do better, or to liken it to ourselves and our lives, and then to be able to use that knowledge better and more instructively. So in my programs, I talk about the centerpiece as always being the center, like everything has its center. And the centerpiece is Jesus Christ himself, but there's also 3 R's. It's reflect, review, and record. And if you reflect, review, and record everything you do, whether it's like a core subject or just I don't know, it could be anything if you're coloring with your kids, right? And if you reflect on that or just review what you did and then record about what you did, then you'll always have that record. But how to perform a reflection is what I'm going to talk about at this conference, and be able to say what step by step, what you do, who's in charge, what kinds of questions to ask, and how to conclude a reflection. So I'm going to go through those steps on how to do a reflection.
Well, that sounds great. I'm looking forward to hearing all about it, because I think that is something that we can all probably learn a little bit more about to help us to make some good changes in our lives, because when you don't reflect, you probably don't see as much as what you could otherwise.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. So. In fact, the Boy Scouts programs have now added reflecting to their program, because they feel like it's, an activity is just an activity until you reflect on it. And when you reflect on it, then it becomes a stronger, more powerful memory.
Awesome. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah. And finally, you have a little giveaway for us. Do you want to tell us about that?
Yes. I thought like, okay, what would they want? So if you go to KeystoneEd/keys, so you're just key, KEY, so KeystoneEd.com/key, then you will get it'll go directly to a video that I have made, and it's actually a video series. So it's 3 videos. They're just 10 minutes long, and it's going to teach you the key pattern of learning. So it's something that I created when I was just starting out. Is like, I think there's levels of learning, and the first level I thought was about knowledge, right? Just like information and just knowledge that we receive. And then the second level is getting that understanding, like putting it into your heart and receiving that understanding is the next level. And I'm like, I could teach at this level, but then I felt like there was a third level up there. And that third level is where they're like ingesting it and it becomes a part of them, and learning becomes such an exciting adventure for them that that whatever they've learned has become a part of them. And I wanted to teach that at that level, and I didn't know how. I'm like, how can I always teach at that third level? And I couldn't come up with an answer. And it took me several years to say, oh, I know. It's a give and receive cycle. So if my kids learn, then they receive knowledge. If they apply what they've done, then they receive understanding. If they share what they've taught, then they receive wisdom. And that's that third level. And so I created this pattern, this like spiraling pattern. As soon as you've learned their highest level, then you get stuck there, right? You're like, oh yeah, I'm happy, and you're content. But then as soon as you're content for a few days, you get bored, right? And you're like, oh, I want more. What am I going to do next? And so then you want to do it again, and you start over, learning, knowledge, applying, and then understanding. And so that's the spiral thing that I'm going to teach you. So in those 3 things, I'm going to teach you the difference between the giving part of learning, the receiving part of learning, and then how to create that spiral on a daily basis with your kids so that they can always be learning at that third level.
So it's called the key pattern of learning. Is that correct?
Yep.
Awesome. And what do our listeners need to do to be able to receive this gift?
All they have to do is go to that I have a landing page. It's called keystoneed.com/key, Key. And then you'll just get right in and be able to just push play on the first one. Oh, there's also a PDF ebook. It's 27 pages long on teaching you how to teach that, or how to teach that, the key pattern of learning to your children. And it goes into detail with that. And then the 3 videos that go with that book. And it's all there for you. I usually sell this for like $45, so I thought this would be a good giveaway for the next couple days.
Yeah, that's really awesome. Thank you so much. And it sounds like there's completely no strings attached to your offer here. And
no, you just push play. That's all you have to do.
That's great. Thank you so much. And we will look forward to learning a lot more with you. And I guess that is about the end of our time together, unless there was something else that you wanted to let us know about.
I look forward to coming. Thank you for inviting me. I look forward to being there and to spending time. And I actually look forward to just having time to write, right?
Yeah.
I'm making myself busy. So I'm excited to just have time to think.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. So this special offer is only good for today, the 3rd, and tomorrow, the 4th. So if you want to take advantage of it, anybody listening, need to be quick on the draw. So we're looking forward to seeing you and everybody else at the boot camp. It's going to be tons of fun. And I guess we will sign off here now. Thanks so much, Tresta.
Yep, you're welcome. Thanks.
All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.